Fall flowers are the prettiest. It seems like they put on their best show just as summer is coming to an end. So today's flower tutorial of the month is featuring beautiful fall flowers made with Susan's Garden Black-Eyed Susan dies. I'm using Graphic 45 Autumn Greetings, and we're making these beautiful florals. Here's a peek inside the card that I put the flowers on. One of my card folios, slimline. If you'd like to learn how to make the flowers, stick around. The tutorial's coming up. I think our flower of the month is going to be Black-Eyed Susan. They're really prolific in North Carolina right now, but I think we can change these up in a lot of autumn colors and make really, really beautiful floral displays. This is the die from Spellbinders. It has the one flower layer, which you can increase, and then the little centers and the leaves. So this will be our tutorial of the month for our flower of the month. All right, friends, let's make some flowers. I always like to start with Heartfelt Creations specialty flower paper. It's super heavy. It's got a very smooth surface. It takes ink well, and it holds up to all kinds of mixed media abuse. So I've got my Distress Ink and Dried Marigold, Aged Mahogany, Rusty Hinge, and Wild Honey. These are great colors for fall, but it's just one color combination, and I'll come back and show you some others that might possibly work. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Wild Honey down. Beautiful, beautiful, rich fall color, and then Dried Marigold. And I just want a little bit of Aged Mahogany like interspersed in there for some deeper tones. And then same with Rusty Hinge. I just want to, so you can see I'm just kind of randomly putting this all down. This is just a mister bottle, and I'm going to hit this with water until beads form. And now I'm going to bring in my paper, and I'm going to tap it in. And I like to do both sides of the paper. Look how beautiful. So now we can dry this just a little bit and come over here and pick up some more, another layer of color. Look at that. That's going to make a gorgeous flower. And then maybe one more little layer down in here, and a little bit more of this red in here. And you can see how this forms just a beautiful base for a fall flower design. So I'm just going to pick up the rest of this ink with the back side of my paper, tap it in, get it all cleaned up. We don't want to waste any of that beautiful ink if we can help it. All right. And I like to make a bunch of flowers all at the same time, a bunch of the same flowers all at the same time, so that, there we go. And we'll make that one the back side. Come in with some Wild Honey. And I'm just going to spray this so those inks will blend and do their thing. I love working with Distress ink. All right, so you can see this is really wet, but it's holding up well. You can come in with a paper towel if you want to and try to pick up some of that wet. See how pretty? And then on this side, same thing. I'm going to dry this with a heat gun. And then I'm going to take my die and I'm going to cut out the petals. For the centers, I'm probably just going to use scraps of different shades of brown. I like to keep my colors, like I like variation, because in real life, that's what you find. For the leaves, I'm going to bring in Shabby Shutters and peeled paint and some forest moss which is a great color for fall leaves. And another sheet of my paper, and you're just going to do the same thing. Just spritz it. Now for spring leaves, you would go with lighter colors, right? But these are fall leaves. So that looks really good. And I'm just going to keep picking up these layers. Get the back side. And you can always come in and you can just get all this delicious ink up off my work surface. I don't want to leave it behind. You can always come in with your blending tool and shade in more ink if you want a darker color, but that's really pretty for fall leaves. So that's the first step in making our flower of the month, is creating these inky panels. So let's talk about another color combination. I've got aged mahogany, festive berries, and rusty hinge. These are going to be deeper toned flowers. So again, we're just going to put our ink down. And I'm going to put 2 of the festive berries in. And I'm going to put, that's going to be really pretty for fall flowers. So we're just going to spray this till the ink forms little beads. Bring in my paper. Tap it in. You can also like slide it through if you want to. And you can see this is like a very vibrant fall color. And you can mix and match these color palettes. You can come back in, like if I want, like I'm kind of liking these darker tones on the back. So I can come back in with my aged mahogany, put that down, spritz, and let's add this to the front. Yeah, see how that darkens it right up and makes it, that's really beautiful. This makes me think of dahlias, fall dahlias. Very beautiful. So there's another color combination for you, and you know how you can add layers of color to create depth. So that's a fun one. Let me get this up here. I like to have both sides. All right, that looks really good. So let's try one more color combination. I want to go more with yellowy tones, orangey yellowy tones. So I'm going to do carved pumpkin, tea dye, fossilized amber, and spiced marmalade. And I'm going to make my primary color here this fossilized amber, which is a beautiful, rich yellow gold. I'm going to put in, it looks like I need to re-ink my tea dye here. Some tea dye, and then just some spots of our spiced marmalade scattered around. And then also some spots of carved pumpkin. And of course, you know, you can key this to your paper collection so that you end up, there, we'll just do a big old mess. So you can key this to whatever paper collection you're working with. So same thing. All right, let's get some water in that tea dye. So I'm going to swipe through this time. See the difference that makes when you swipe? Ooh, that's a pretty one. Yeah. And let's get the back side. Swiping through. Beautiful. All right, and now I'm just going to lay it down and let it pick up some of these little dots so we get little variations in here. And of course you can play with this, you know, make it however you want it to be. I'm loving this color. This is a really pretty color combination. I like that a lot. that carved pumpkin really popped. So I'm going to dry this just a little bit and come back and pick up some of these. So I've dried this just a little bit, and I just want to pick up some of these beautiful little dots in here because those will look pretty. See how it's picking it up? And to do that, I'm just tapping right into those beads of color, and that's going to be really pretty. But here's something fun we can do. We can come back with this more rusty, and you've got two sides on each piece of paper, so you can add like colors. Yeah, look how neat that is. That's going to be beautiful when it's die cut. And I'm even going to come in with my red and pick up some of these orange tones in there, which is going to make it look even, can you see how beautiful that is? Even more fall. So that's really fun. This is just you could just spend all day making making paper panels for your flowers, but at some point you do kind of have to move on and get the flowers made. So I'm going to dry these with my heat gun. If you want to, you can come in and do this little method where you fill your hand with water and then just flick it on the paper, and that will also create little variations in the color. And what this does is you end up with a realistic looking flower petal, because if you look at flowers in real life, they're not all colored like from a coloring book. They have lots of variations. Just gonna flick this one a little bit. Now, see, I laid this red on top of here just as I was working, and it actually bled some of the red into the orange, which I'm fine with. I love the way that looks. You can see how I did it here too. So that's just some basics for coloring your papers for fall. I want to dry this. Oh, look, I picked up a little orange from laying this on top of the this orange panel. So that's kind of fun. I like that too. You can even pick up some of these little leftover bits of color on the work surface that will, so you get little variations in your leaves. It just makes them look more realistic. It's just fun. I love doing this. So I'm going to dry this. I'm going to show you how to add, even like if you want a deeper toned leaf, how to do that. I want to add a little more depth, so I'm going to come in with my peeled paint, pick it up with my blending tool. You always start off the edge, and I'm just going to randomly come through here and add some shading. And I'm not pressing down hard, I'm just skimming over the surface in a circular motion. And you can see how this is adding some really nice definition to this color. All right, I'm going to flip it over, get this back side, which really needs it. All right, now I'm going to come in with my forest moss, and I'm just going to get a little bit more deep. See how I'm just barely going over that, but we're getting some really nice, look how pretty that is. This is going to make gorgeous leaves. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do my flick thing. This is going to create like a very like little water spots in there that make it really pretty. And you just have to let that ink work. I'm going to flip over the other side. Okay, so these will be really pretty when they're die cut and shaped. So There you go. And it's a good color for fall, that sort of acidy green it ends up being. And I love how we've got little streaks of orange and red through there. In fact, I might sandwich this while it's wet in between these so it picks up some of those colors. Look what this is doing. Look how pretty. These are still damp, and I'm just kind of layering them together. And what they're going to do is pick up color from one another, which is really fun. All right, I'm going to clean this up, dry these, and then we'll die cut. All right, friends, so I've been busy finishing up a bunch of these flowers that are now drying in this tray. We have one more step we're going to do to all these flowers and leaves. I also die cut the Susan's Gardens lavender jar. I just love these little posies, and I thought they'd be pretty on our tag today. A whole bunch of leaves, and then from another Susan's Garden Victorian foliage, I cut out a few ferns. So I just want to show you very quickly how to shape these little black-eyed Susans. Here they are die cut. All I've done is die cut the paper that we previously colored. And I always start out just with a quick spritz of water on each side. This releases the starch in the paper, which will help the flower to hold its shape. Once again, I'm going to be working with my Golf Groove shaping tools. Excuse my fingers, I've been inking and I didn't see any point in cleaning up yet. So I've flipped it face down. I'm putting my large Golf Groove tool at the tip, and I'm just gently pressing and pulling toward the center. It's a very, very simple move. All right, so like this. And then I'm going to do the other layer. And then flip them over and use the rounded end to press into the center to cup the petals and to cup the center and raise the petals, okay? So 2 makes, I think, a pretty layer. There we go. And I'm going to come in with my glue gun. And I really like this speckled one. I'm going to put it on the top. And I'm going to stagger my petals like this, and then press in again. And you can leave it just like that, and it's very lovely. Or you can do what I did, and you can come in with either some rusty hinge or that wild honey. And I'm just going to hit the sides to add a little shading, and the tips. You can see I'm not putting a ton on, but just enough to add a little outlining shadow on the outside edges, and then in the center, just like that. So now see how that transformed that and made it look very much like a fall flower. I'm going to press the center again. And again, this is really pretty, just like this. You could leave it like that. Or you can come in with these straight tweezers and pinch the ends. So that one I pinched up, that one I'm pinching down, and I'm just going to alternate all the way around. And this just adds an extra layer of texture, dimension, shape. I love how raggedy it makes these flowers look. They look like fall flowers. All right, I'm going to press into the center again. See how pretty that is? Now I'm going to come in with my glue gun, fill the center with my Dry's Clear Glue, just like that. Now, the die comes with all these little tiny, teeny, tiny centers that you can put in there, but I like prills. And this is a combination of Espresso Yourself and Gorgeous, Gourdjus. And I just love how those look. So, move this out of the way. I had another leaf, there it is. I've taken these leaves and I also just did a little forest moss around the edges to add some shading and some definition. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I flip it face down and I'm just going to use my golf groove tool just like that. And it creates this, and then I'm going to come in and pinch it. Okay, so it's just a very simple, right? Okay, let me set up for the last step. I'll be right back. So I've taken one of my 12 by 12 cellophane scrapbook paper packages and I put it over my crafting mat using the adhesive edge to hold it in place. I'm bringing in my Perfect Pearls, Perfect Copper. This is just a copper mica mist. I think if you look at some of the new Tim Holtz mists, you'll find that he has shades like this. This is just old, but you can probably find something similar. And I'm just going to lightly, see, I'm not like putting a ton on. I'm just lightly spritzing over all of this. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. I might come up and hit a couple of these a little bit more, but I just want to add that little bit of autumn shine to my flowers. All right, friends, look, here it is, all finished up, our beautiful flowers. A couple of final tips. For these, I spattered them with white paint. You could also spatter them with copper or even like a mahogany red to add more dimension, or leave them just as they are and don't spatter them at all. You can see these turned out really, really beautiful. And I love how easy these are to make. They're super quick flower to make. The prills in the center, I think, add a lot. The leaves come out so beautifully modeled and shabby looking. This is a really fun technique. When you're laying your flowers out on your card, I like to start with my greenery first. So and I think leaves are essential in a floral cluster. They add a tremendous amount of realism and depth and dimension. So I started out with this one, with this really big leaf, then a fern, and then I put a fern here and another little leaf in here. And then I usually do my outside flowers first and then my main flower in the center. And it just makes it's got this little curve to it. They're clustered together. It looks really nice. You can see up here, I tucked one in all by itself in this corner, just to kind of balance things. And then once my florals are placed, I lift up and tuck my ribbon in. So those are flower making tips. These are our fall flowers made with Susan's Garden Black-Eyed Susans. The paper collection is Graphic 45, Autumn Greetings, which I have almost none left of because it's such a fun collection to work with. And it's so perfect for fall. I hope you enjoyed this month's Flower of the Month tutorial. I'd love to hear your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back. I can't believe it's October and we have to do another tag of the month. So our theme for October is Christmas. And It's going to be really, really fun. All right, guys, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. Thanks for joining me. Bye.